Space is the final frontier. Final because its sole goal is to kill us. Sometimes we like to forget that, to take it all for granted. All the technology, all the planets, the moons, the stars are all taken for granted. But what if one day, all of them just vanished, gone in an instant? One moment, you're in space exploring with a friend. The next, the entire star system is gone, and you're left in the deep void of space, left searching for the last inches of humanity left. That's a pretty terrifying concept, and that's a concept that the game Iron Lung barely explores, but it's a pretty cool concept. Everyone, I'd like to welcome you to Iron Lung. Iron Lung is a small indie horror game released on March 10th, 2022 and was developed by David Szymanski, who also developed Dusk, which I've not played, unlike most people who've played Iron Lung. I haven't quite got around to it yet, but I've heard some pretty good things about Dusk, so it isn't completely out of the question. Who knows? Maybe if it's good, I'll fucking review it. Hell yeah. In Iron Lung, you play as a convict inside of a submarine named the SM-13, but is nicknamed the Iron Lung. Due to the pressure and depth of the ocean, the sub that you are being placed in is welded shut with you inside, and even the viewing port is blocked off, and you're left to fend for yourself and get photos of the ocean before you can come back up to the surface. Now, before watching this, and you haven't played it, I highly recommend playing this game. It's not incredibly expensive, and as the notes quite snarkily point out, you can run this. It's really not an awfully big game, nor is graphically intense. I mean, fucking look at it. So, you've had my warning. You can play this game or not. It's around £4 in English. Fucking money, pounds, yep. Which roughly translates to about $6.15. Fuck, I forgot to say dollars, shit. And before you say it's only 60 minutes, I don't care, it's worth the price in my opinion. Despite how short it is packed full of Easter eggs, cool things, content in general, all that good stuff. So either you've played it, you're continuing on even though I've told you, and you don't have £4.70 on you, which is what? And you're just gonna watch me talk about it instead, or you've come back from playing it, in which case, welcome back. Shall we begin? Iron Lung is a wicked cool horror experience that I'm glad that you've definitely played and not just forgotten about my warning that I spent 3 minutes writing. It's a horror experience I find far more interesting than something like Five Nights at Freddy's, for instance. In my opinion, FNAF doesn't really focus much on the psychological horror aspect and more the fear of getting caught. It isn't a problem, by the way. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that the thing that you're mainly scared of in that game is being caught, but it is a difference, however, between the two pieces of media. FNAF derives its horror from the stress of avoiding killer robots, whilst on the other hand, Iron Lung is a game that is done differently. Fuck, I fucking misread the line. However, Iron Lung is a game where we never truly discover the threat. We never truly find out what's out there, and we never discover what the creature that's following us really is, and that is a much scarier concept. So the premise of the game is pretty frightening too. One day, something just happened. I don't know how to describe it. Almost every person in the universe, and now all the stars, planet, and life in general, are just gone. This is the perfect premise in my opinion. It's infinitely more terrifying than, ooh, some bombs dropped, ooh, a pizzeria with a bear that fucking wants to kill you. Because in those games, there's given reasoning for it. And if it isn't explicitly pointed out to you, and if it isn't fucking pointed out to you enough, it's fucking hinted at a shit ton. Iron Lung, on the other hand, gives no explanation whatsoever. All that stuff is just gone, and you're left to pick up the pieces. The name of the event is also perfect, the event in question being the Silent Rapture. It's such a perfect plot in my opinion, and the name adds to the horror. A rapture is described as a transportation of believers to heaven at the second coming of Christ. This could mean one of two things. David thought this was a really cool name, can't really blame him. It is a cool name. Or option B, there's a supernatural explanation behind the Silent Rapture. I mean, what kind of explanation that's scientifically accurate can you come up with then, hey? It's not like all the life is dead, like there's not bodies everywhere. It's just fucking gone. It's not like a plague wiped everything out. It's like it never even existed. We can't just say, oh, an apocalyptic event caused this, because it didn't kill all the life. For all we could have known, everyone could just be living in another dimension, and that possibility isn't completely rendered out, but we'll get to that in due time. So, the gameplay. It's alright. It's easily the weakest part of the game for me. It's not bad, but it pales in comparison to the story, which I find absolutely fascinating. It's similar to FNAF in that respect, in which the gameplay is pretty unique, but not anything special, whilst the story is pretty good. Well, FNAF 1 to 3, after that the story became a clusterfuck, but I'm not here to have that argument with you. Fucking battle it among yourselves in my fucking Discord server, the comment section, your mum's car, wherever and whenever you decide to fight. Whoever wins and comes out victorious, I'll just fucking agree with them, okay? Let's continue. It's pretty simple, but it is good. The submarine you're stationary in for the entirety of the gameplay has everything you need to know about the game. The game is played on a 2D grid, mainly because Jesus Christ, can you imagine how bad this game would be on a 3D grid? No one would fucking talk about anything of this game because they'd be too busy screaming about how bad it would be because it would be on a fucking 3D grid. Do you imagine how hard it would be? The gameplay is hard enough not to be piss easy, but it's not extreme BS levels of difficulty. Every failure I made playing the game felt extremely fair, which is more than I can say about plenty of other indie horror games, but you just drive around doing nothing? What? No, you don't just drive around doing nothing. You have a job to do. That's how you escape from your conviction. You have to go around taking photos of everything underwater, like these lumpy things, a brick wall, some buildings, your mum's Nando's, and a skeleton. Ha! This is pretty unnerving on its own, but that isn't the only thing. In fact, you don't even appear to be the only life under there. In fact, you're not even alone. It's never specified what creature is following you, but it is so abstract that people think there are two monsters that are chasing you, which I find extremely funny. It's mainly caused due to this eye picture, which looks extremely different to what it looked like earlier in the game, but honestly I just think it was changed just so it looked a bit creepier. I believe there is like only one monster. I don't know why there'd be like two that are out to kill you. I know that sounds weird, but like I think it's a lot scarier with just one. Like, one thing under the water, you know what I fucking mean? Never let me go off script, I ramble a lot. So, Iron Lung has a really interesting story and lore. Oh, somebody please fucking kill me. It's easily one of the best parts of the game, and what gave the game the hook that people have for it. Hell, this game is getting a fucking movie, and honestly, I'm pretty fucking hyped for it. I mean, it's even directed by Mark's Pliers. But this isn't fucking Mark's channel, this is my channel, focus on me. I want all the attention. Let's talk about what we have of a story. In the back of the sub we have a computer monitor thing. This wasn't originally in the game, but we can get some lore. Oh boy, I can't wait for the game theory video on this. Basic plot from the first glance is you're a convict and you were sent into a blood ocean to collect images. But if you're perceptive, like I know you are, that's why I love you and I want to marry you, you would have picked up the note on the floor. The people who put it there really don't care if you die. Like, the sub you are in is literally falling apart. Why would they care about you if they put you in this fucking thing? If they actually wanted real photos, they wouldn't put you in this shit heap, they'd put you in one of the nice things. This isn't an expedition. This is an execution. Even if you do return and they keep their promises, what freedom awaits you? A few dying ships in a sea of dead stars. They will get their execution, and I will get my freedom. Well, if you search the game world, you can find the SM-8. It was built for scientists rather than convicts, yet was heavily damaged and sunk by an unknown perpetrator. So this ship was clearly designed for exploration of the Blood Ocean, but now rests there on the moon of AT5. Oh shit, yeah, these moons have names, by the way. That's its name. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, what's the lore of this game? The base main story that's going on around us, before and after the game. In the year of 1992, the first colony to exist on a planet other than Earth was created, so they started a new calendar called the Epoch of Interplanetary Colonization. We skip a couple years to the Quiet Rapture, trust me, not really missing much, when the Silent Rapture happens, wiping all planets, stars, and life inhabiting the planets and stars, leaving just a bunch of moons and a few spaceships. There are a few theories on who you play as, one of them being a resident of Eden who was captured after the Battle of Filament Station. I probably fucking butchered that name. And this conviction realization is what you're doing as a punishment for being part of Eden. By the way, what's it called? Fucking conviction realization? Yeah, it's a bunch of baloney. It's disguised as community service, but it's more like an execution. If you die, nice. If you come back with images, even nicer. It doesn't matter which way you go, just pick anyway. The story is really good. The concept is actually really scary, despite what children on the internet who only like Five Nights at Freddy's say. It's a scary concept. For the lack of telling us anything, Big D could have easily given us an explanation for this event and why it happened, but he didn't, and I am very grateful. So, fan theories. Let's have a bit of a fan wank, shall we? One theory to do with the phrase rapture, a phrase which basically describes being taken to a paradise, a theme with David's other work being fantasy magical garbage, and in-game we come across this portal light glowy thing here. Some peeps have speculated this is a portal to another dimension, which is a pretty cool explanation, and is the one I'm probably inclined to believe. I don't know, it just kind of clicks together with the themes that Davis? Who the fuck's David's? Fuck, I can't even get the joke right, that David has in his other games, and it gives a reason to this random ass glowy thing that's kind of just sort of, shut up you stupid cunt. It makes sense. It gives a reason to this random ass glowy thing that's just sort of there, in my opinion. It's not fully set in stone, which I like about it. Not every story needs to have an explanation, though I do have a feeling it will in the movie, or if David ever returns to Iron Lung at any point in the future. So, in my 5 years on YouTube, I've had the tendency to cover things I've really enjoyed or really hated. So to set the record straight, I like Iron Lung. It's good. It's not the greatest game ever made, but it's fun. Yeah. This is usually where IGN puts a score out of 10, isn't it? Yeah, I like Iron Lung. It's not the greatest game ever made, but it's fun, the story's pretty cool, I like it, and I'm excited for the movie. We can all go home to our families. I really have nothing else here. My script kind of ends. I was gonna... Bye. I'm gonna do ending talk in a minute. Hi, thanks for watching. I liked making this video. I've wanted to make this one for a while, so I'm glad I finally got to do it. You made it to the end. Thanks for watching, I guess. I planned to make this like last year in like October, and then I never got around to it because I like made nothing between October and like the end of October and like December. But like I'm back now. Hi. Yeah, this is the bit where I thank people. Thanks to my awesome girlfriend who gave me the idea for the thumbnail. It was originally just a rip-off of the Power Pack one, but I decided, oh, well this kind of just looks like a bootleg Power Pack video now, and it still is, but now it's slightly less of a rip-off because the thumbnail's not just the same with WoofInation in the corner. I ramble a lot when I'm off script. Could you tell? Yeah, thanks for watching. Suck my dick.